And welcome back, fellow air acolytes, to another edition of Breaking Wind, a last airbender podcast. I am your host, Jason Roy Gaston, and the man to my side over there, my friend, my ally, my brother, VHS Jace. And we are here to dive headfirst into an episode about Texas weather when extremes meet. Chapter 8. No, you could leave the house and you have to wear like a down coat, and by 10 a.m. you're like in shorts and you got a sunburn in this place. And then of course by 5 you're running for your life because a tornado is coming.
Dude, I live in Australia. All right, I get it.
The weather tries to kill us here, the wildlife tries to kill you there. So it's all good. Let's just pray that
And
the
the weather,
wildlife and the weather
like
never
sometimes.
join forces, because if they do, we will all be destroyed. Speaking of forces that will destroy us all, we're getting some more Milo, because Milo is there to greet Mako and Bolin and Asami as they come to live on Airbender Island. I also got to say, some absolutely beautiful animation as they come up. Just the backgrounds did not have to go that hard, but they did.
No,
and I'm glad
it constantly impresses the show, animation-wise.
Yes. And I will go ahead and say once again, everyone who hates Milo can die. He's great.
Hey,
I love the kid.
I'm debating whether to get T-shirts made saying "More Milo."
Yeah,
because amazing. He's hilarious.
Yeah, you're pretty. Can I have some
and
of
I
your
agree
hair?
with him. I wanted some of her hair as well.
Her hair is immaculate.
Well.
Her hair is immaculate. But it's
Michelle
not
meeting
Milo.
a beautiful woman. Like, great line.
But it's not Milo who causes the most socially awkward situation on the show so far. It's actually poor little Icky, and she doesn't even mean to, because she asks Asami, "Hey, did you know Korra likes Mako?" Which leads to, ladies and gentlemen, the greatest cursed screenshot of all time.
Also, probably one of the most relatable. Somebody say something they didn't want. That is perfect.
It is hilarious. It is so well animated with the light and the lightning in the background and the shadows and just that horrible look on her face. And the fact that it's in a reaction to basically being outed as being a creep to Asami's boyfriend.
It's great.
It was great. And as you said, like 5 seconds later, Icky has this wonderful curse screenshot as well. I should have gotten a grab of it. I didn't. I was just like, oh, we've already had the greatest one ever.
Oh, it's hard to top that one. That is the greatest. Yeah.
I just got to throw that up one more time. I want to have that, watercolored and put on my wall. That's how much I love this screenshot.
I'm going to save the image, and when people send me emails that I'm not happy with, I'm going to send them back this image, just this image as a response. It's going to be my standard email response for unwanted emails.
Oh my gosh, I love that this show does the hilarious facial expressions. That they don't feel like they have to be 100% realistic. That they do the weird stuff. I love that. But then it is followed by what I think is a very real scene of Korra and Asami just being awkward with each other. Because
Asami, I love her. She's so classy.
She is classy, because this could have devolved into you weren't trying to get my man away.
Exactly.
Push me outside now. It could have turned into that, but it didn't. Like you said, Asami she's classy. She's not she's not awful. Let me put it that way. She's not awful. I would not even say that Korra is awful, because Korra recognizes that this is a bad situation and that it's her fault.
Well, if anyone has any excuse to be emotionally a roller coaster at the moment, it'd be Asami, right? I mean, like, the whole world has come crashing down.
Yeah, Korra's just like, oh my gosh, she knows all that I like Mako. This is the worst day of my life, and Asami's over there going, yeah, my dad just went to jail and I've lost my entire fortune in my home, but yeah, this is the worst day of your life. I'm so sorry for you.
Yeah.
Moving on. So anyway, Lynn has stepped down, and a new chief of police has taken over. I don't even remember his name. I'm just going to call him Butthole, because he just...
I was calling him Puppet McPuppet.
He
puppet, right?
looks like my high school principal.
Oh, there you go.
He really does, and I'm not even exaggerating. If my high school principal was turned into a cartoon, he would look like this. And I'm not saying that as an insult. I'm just saying it's uncanny. It is super uncanny. Yeah, Ronnie, I'm very sorry if you're watching this. I don't think you would be, but he'd probably see me on YouTube and go, "Ooh, no, click it off." I don't blame him either. I was pretty terrible. Anyway, Korra and Tenzin, they have a basically a showdown with oh my gosh, what is his name? I keep wanting to call him something. I keep wanting to call him something else, but I'm wanting to call him the villain from next year.
Right.
I have
Why do I feel like it's a T word? We're awful.
I know we are really bad. We are really bad.
Like
Tarrlok.
There you go.
Tarrlok. I'm not a Sami. I will whoop your butt.
Yeah. Like this is. I got to say, the weak part of this episode is that whole thing being an attempt to be hidden, which was pretty obvious. I could say.
Yeah, I'm totally.
What was going to go down here?
Totally not the bad guy. I'm just a bureaucrat. That's all. Again, the animation in the show did not have to go this hard. Just the detail and the movement.
It's almost feature film level good.
It is. It is feature film level good. I think I was one of 5 people who saw The Day the Earth Blew Up. And incidentally, if you didn't see that movie, shame on you. You should have supported it.
Oh, mate, I wish I could that shame, because if I could get to a cinema to see it here, I would.
Yeah, you have an excuse. Warner Brothers hates money and didn't release it in your country. Yes, but all my fellow Americans, I'm disappointed in you again. So yeah. Anyway, whenever it comes out on streaming, you should see the movie. But the animation in that reminds me a lot of the smoothness in The Legend of Korra and Avatar. And now I told you that we were going to see a whole new form of bending on this show, a form that we have not seen before. And ladies and gentlemen, fart bending.
Pretty rad.
Yeah. Now, and everybody's like, "Oh, that's so gross. That would never happen." No. If there was a 6 or 7-year-old kid who could airbend, they would most definitely fart bend. They would do it. They would either fly with it or they would like bend it in their sister's face or something like that, because boys are gross.
Not because they're evil, because they're trying to impress you.
Exactly. It's the same thing with cats. Cats don't hate you because you've done anything.
A cat
hates you because it's a cat. Boys are not gross because they hate you. Boys are gross because they're gross. And boys will fart bend. That's wrong. There we go. Boys will fart bend, and you can tell he's just like
fart bending
so much. Yeah, and I love that. I love that everybody's smiling except for Asami. she's the one who's just like. She's just the one who's like, Jesus Christ, what am I involved in right now?
Yeah, that's right. She's gone, not only lost everything, she has to live with these simpler folk.
I have to live with these fart-bending fools. Oh my gosh. Anyway, Asami, Korra, Bolin, and Mako have decided to become Team Avatar 2.0 because, after all, Aang didn't travel the world by himself. He had his friends. And so now Korra is doing the same thing with her friends. And I gotta say, Korra and her friends are a heck of a team, because
in a heck of a car.
They end up just whooping these equalists in the most awesome high-speed chase put to film.
I think it's a wonderful scene. I did think as I was watching it, man, like this would be a hard scene to film because there's so much going on in that scene.
It would be. Part of me kind of suspects that Netflix is going to do Legend of Korra after they get done with live action Avatar.
Oh, I do think
and I'm just looking at this thinking, wow, look at all the stuff they're going to screw up.
No.
But at least they'll be able to fit more of the story in because Korra had less episodes per season. So
that's a very bold thing for them to do too, because they're not. I assumed they would go in discreetly.
Oh,
no! Like a lot of rebellion, they do things, behind shadows and stuff. Nope, they're down Main Street.
Yeah, they're basically like in the Batmobile at this point. They're in the
Yeah,
core
like
of
they
it.
are just going for it hard. They don't care who sees it. In fact, I would say they want everybody to see this.
Oh yeah. Asami is such a BA. I just love that so much. Just
Like MVP,
the
right? She's
fact that they would
MVP
like
of that
knock
group.
them into Asami's reach and she just reach up and go.
Well,
She's like a bug zapper.
Bruce Wayne in a way, isn't she?
Pretty
She's
much,
got
yeah.
money, she's got the tech, you know. She knows how to fight.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, Korra rounds up all of these thugs, and that's when Tarrlok shows up. Avatar, what are you doing? You're messing up my evil plan. I mean, you're messing up our task force. And she's like, well, we're just doing your job for you because you suck. I liked the fact that they were doing this whole back and forth thing. And then we get, this gives me pause. I'm going to tell you because we got this. It's like, come on, are we really going to do this now?
Let it go.
We just got out of a freaking love triangle. Do we need to do this again? I got to say, though, I love the way they animate Asami. Just something about the way that they animate her face is beautiful.
It's just how it makes you feel, because you're basically, with this moment, implying there's more to tell. And what you want to tell, I don't want.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want this either, but you have to appreciate the fact that they communicate all of her fears and suspicions with just a look, which is hard to do in animation, especially somewhat grounded animation like they do in Korra.
Oh, look, there's no doubt that it's the A-team again writing this, because this and the last episode. Yeah. You know what I will say? I know this is going to sound like an odd comment, but I feel like the last two episodes feels more Avatar. If that's a weird thing, I don't know. It felt more connected to the overall universe. It's a hard thing to quantify, and I can't even give you evidence, but it feels more Avatar the last couple episodes.
I get what you're saying, because it seemed like there for a while they were doing soap opera and sports stuff for the longest time, and it just didn't feel like.
I was waiting for Jughead and Archie to turn up with Veronica.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I'm glad that we're over that now. I will admit there is more like love story to come, which sucks. But I do think that the spirit of competition is the bottom of the barrel as far as that goes. If I remember right, as I said, this is my first watch through in the show in well over how many years? It's been 15 years since
it's a long time.
So it's been a while. Tarrlok, who is totally not evil, decides to propose a curfew to the council that anybody who is not a bender should be in bed by 8:30, because nothing good happens at 8:30. Oh yeah.
I like that, because it's really like this is hardcore fascism right here.
Oh yeah.
This town is in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, they start chipping away at those rights little bit by little bit.
Yep.
And I love this scene.
For their own protection.
I love this scene for many reasons that's coming up. One is the lighting, because it takes place in the middle of a blackout, and so the light is very unidirectional, and the shadows are very hard, and it's very haunting. And secondly, because Korra kind of realizes something here, and they never spell it out. As she comes up on this crowd of people, this woman holding a baby says, "You're our avatar too." And I think at that moment, Korra realizes, wow, I have been neglecting these people. Yeah. And so she just bursts through the lines and says, you need to let these people go. And then, of course, everything goes downhill because, look at the lighting there. Just, I don't know what it is about this. Just the fact that their faces are shadowed, and it just seems ominous.
It just feels like the only light source is the moon. At the moment.
Yeah.
And that's just, mate, the experts are handling this show, clearly.
Exactly. But yeah, Korra confronts Tarrlok and says, hey, let these people go. And Tarrlok is such a douche, because he wraps them all up and starts to basically imprison all of them. Which, first of all, why would anybody want to be a criminal in a world where people can bend like that? Because that's just no. I don't think I would tape a football game to play it later, much less steal anything, because I wouldn't want a piece of rebar shoved up an orifice.
It is a little bit disappointing, because even though we knew he was evil, he was playing it pretty smart most of the way until that scene.
Yeah.
He could have continued on his evil ways if he didn't do that. But he's so evil, couldn't help himself.
Well, you also have to understand now, according to what I heard a long time ago, this mini series, which it was a mini series at first, it was not a series, was only supposed to run 10 episodes. So this is episode 8. So according to the original plan, they only had 2 episodes left after this. So they had to have Tarrlok make a turn sooner or later. Now, Nickelodeon came up halfway through production and said, hey, we want more episodes and we want to make it a series. And so they were just like, oh no, what are we going to do? So the pacing gets kind of wonky from here on out because of that. And the second
how many episodes in this season? Sorry,
I think there's again? 14. I could be wrong.
All right, so they come up with another 4 episodes on top of what they'd already wrote.
If this is true, I do not know the authenticity of this because that was something that was posted on Reddit like a long time ago, and I could even be remembering it wrong. But that's also why the second season, many people consider that kind of a letdown, because they weren't planning on having a second season, and then all of a sudden they had to come up with one. I will say the 3rd and 4th season, way better. The 3rd season has some of the best Avatar ever. I mean, quite honestly, people don't give it enough credit. So anyway, Team Avatar 2.0 is taken away, and then we have one of the most awesome Korra scenes ever, because she's getting ready to squish people like bugs because of her friends, and it happens so quickly. And
I'm secretly going, do it.
But it happens so quickly, and then you get that second or two of just silence, and you're just like, oh man, this could be bad. She's about to turn a corner right here. But thankfully, Mako tells her, don't, it's not worth it. Walk away. We'll be okay. And so she walks away, and she comes back with Tenzin, and they're like, hey, let our people out of jail. And my high school principal says, no. And Korra says, I want to talk to the manager. And so she goes to see the manager. Again, the composition of these shots did not have to go this hard, but it did.
No, did not at all.
And Tarrlok apparently upset that he cannot enact his secret plans in secret anymore, decides to just fight the Avatar with his water bending, and we get a really good matchup between Korra
magnificent
and
battle scene, really great.
Yeah, really, really good. We were talking about this right here, which is just a fantastic scene.
We get it really good. I don't know if you've got the shot, Jason. You get a close up of Tarrlok in full berserko, I've gone nuts look on his face.
I don't have it. I wish I did.
He's got the
I'm going to blame it on StreamYard, but it was my fault. Yeah. But speaking of evil, that's when the other shoe drops. Tarrlok is a bloodbender.
Okay. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
I did not see that coming.
There's something about bloodbenders that just makes my stomach like flip because it's just so invasive. And as Korra falls to the ground in agony, we get some more flashbacks. We see Sokka in what looks like the throes of being bloodbended. We get Toph, who looks like she's being bloodbended. And then we have a hand reaching for this mysterious person, and it's Aang, who is struggling against the bloodbender as well. So somehow Tarrlok and this rather devilish-looking man are connected. Strange.
You know, that was one thing I will applaud the show that I'm surprised about, is that we're actually, not only is this show telling a new story, they're actually in just a brilliant way almost filling the gap for us too at times.
Yes.
And which I think something I wasn't expecting, and I love the fact that they not just spelling it out, but they're filling in the world in this really subtle way, which is, again, pay me for how much I love the show. I love the show.
Oh, but we're going to close this episode out on a positive note. I'm positive Korra's screwed because Tarrlok has her tied up and puts her in the back of a police car and goes off into the night, who knows where, and that is closing out When Extremes Meet on a cliffhanger.
Why do you keep her alive, though? Like, really? I mean, you can't kill her because, you know what I mean? But really, there's nothing good you can do with the Avatar. The Avatar, to quote Star Wars, he's too dangerous to live. To quote my man Mace.
Too dangerous to live, but too much of a wild card to die. Because in 10 years, you're going to have a 10-year-old earthbender coming after you. But you threw me in a cop car. Have some dirt.
You know, you forget sometimes too, as they say in this episode, like she might be way more advanced physically than Aang was. I mean, she can handle all the elements, but she's so underprepared because she's got no connection with the spirits at this point.
Yeah, and of course she can't airbend either, which is something Aang was rather good at.
Well, that was like built in. That was default mode. That was uploaded to his OS straight away.
Yes.
Yeah, very cool. Another good episode, 2 for 2. Really digging where we're going at the moment. It's not perfect. Like some things were pretty easy to read. He was the bad guy and all that, but that's in everything you see these days anyway. But overall, I'm getting the feeling though you're either in or you're out at this point, right?
Pretty much,
I think the haters are probably there is no way saving them at this point. Because if you're not liking this, then I don't know what you're trying. Maybe you best just go and back and watching Aang.
Well, you know, girl in the lead role, Icky Poo. That was most.
I don't know if it's just blokes though too. I think it's also some element of women. I just think people don't like change.
That's what it is. And you know, like I said, Korra came along and instantly said, we're not going to be the last airbender. We're going to be something different. We're going to be something new. A lot like the way that Seven Havens is doing. We're not going to be airbender. We're not going to be Korra. We're going to be something you haven't seen before. And I would rather see that than see a retread, personally.
Well, you know, it allows them also, the creators, to be more creative and not get locked in on, you know, having to recapture something that's impossible to recapture. Like, you've got to move forward.
So I misspoke. I thought that there were 14 episodes this season, but there were actually only 12. So we only have 4 episodes left. And the next episode is called Out of the Past. And guess what we get to see in the next episode?
Someone from the past.
We get to see what the deal is with Aang and the Bloodbender. And we get an honest-to-goodness flashback.
Where we get to see
much of the old gang again. Not all of them. I don't think Katara's present, but we get to see pretty much everybody. And I don't think we get to see Zuko either.
Tie the show up because I can go watch it now after.
Yeah.
Hurry up. I want to go watch it now.
All right. Well, let's get this over with. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to support Breaking Wind, if you like Breaking Wind, if it makes you feel happy, then fart bending. Then you can join us on Patreon by checking out the video description below, where we have a link that will lead you to our Patreon, where you can support us for as little as $5 a month, or you can become a YouTube channel member and also support us for $5 a month. Basically, it's half of one, 6 dozen of the other, half a dozen of the other, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. I don't know how that saying goes, but either way, money is the end goal, and we would like some, please. Thank you. And of course, join us next time for Out of the Past on Breaking Wind, a Last Airbender podcast.
We shall meet again, you beautiful woman.
That was a threat.